All right, so we're back and oh yeah, classic. Fans are loving that for sure. It's a nice callback, a little wink to their history.
Definitely. Now, we can't talk about this episode without mentioning Koga, though. Her arc wrapped up, but with a twist. That time reset. And the reactions, well, let's just say they're mixed.
Yeah, you've got people heartbroken for her, pouring her heart out, only for everything to seemingly get erased.
Right, a lot of sympathy there, but also some fans are like, hold on, creating that time loop, trapping Sakuta in the same day over and over, kind of a desperate move.
Not to mention, some are questioning if her feelings were even genuine.
Like, was it really about Sakuta? Or was it about Koga needing to control everything, the whole atmosphere around her?
This is where it gets really interesting, because remember puberty syndrome? Some fans are theorizing that Koga's time loop wasn't actual time travel, but a self-created simulation.
Oh, hold on,
Oh,
what?
yeah, a manifestation of her puberty syndrome.
Okay, I see where they're going with this. Koga and her whole obsession with atmosphere, analyzing everyone. It's like she has this Laplace's demon thing going on, seeing every possible outcome.
Right, and maybe that ability, combined with puberty syndrome, let her create this hyper-realistic simulation. A world where she's in control, where she can manipulate things, even Sakuta's feelings.
So everything we saw during those loops, was it all fake?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The show doesn't give us a straight answer, which is honestly what makes this series so good.
But this raises a bigger question about puberty syndrome itself. Is it purely supernatural? Or are we talking about something else entirely? Like a way for these characters to manifest their deepest desires or fears, shaping reality through their own perceptions.
Oh, that is deep. This is why I love this show. It goes beyond cute girls and supernatural stuff. It's about psychology, philosophy, the nature of reality. Okay, back to that time reset. A lot of people are confused about which events actually happened.
Totally. Like, we see some of those fake dates replayed in the reset timeline, but Sakuta and Koga are just friends now.
Right. So did those dates happen or not? Are they echoes of Koga's simulation or something else? It's a real head-scratcher.
It's brilliant, though. The show doesn't spoon-feed us the answers. It makes us think, makes us engage with what we're seeing.
And this ambiguity is what keeps people coming back for more. Speaking of coming back for more, there's another debate raging on the forums. Is anime series name a harem series or not?
Oh boy, that's a question as old as time. Some fans are absolutely convinced it fits the genre. Multiple girls crushing on Sakuta, that's harem territory in their book.
But others are like, hold up, just because girls are interested doesn't make it a harem. Especially since Sakuta has been all about Mai from the very beginning.
That's what makes this discussion so interesting, though, right? It forces us to define what a genre even is, and this show loves to play with expectations.
Exactly, it's not black and white, and the show avoids easy labels.
Right. And honestly, I appreciate how the show focuses on the characters as individuals. Sakuta isn't your typical harem protagonist. He's not playing the field. He's made his choice.
And the show respects that.
It's refreshing. Plus, it's not all about romantic relationships either. We see these strong friendships between the girls, and that's just as important.
So the harem or not debate will probably continue, but I think we could agree anime series name is more than a simple label. It's a show that makes us think, makes us feel, and maybe makes us question how we see things.
Couldn't have said it better myself. But before we get too philosophical here, let's shift gears a bit. We talked about Sakuta and Mai, Koga and her time loop, but there are other characters whose stories are starting to unfold, and the fans are buzzing about it.
Remember Futaba. Yeah, some people are convinced her arc is next. It seems like her feelings for Kunimi are about to take center stage.
There were some subtle hints in this episode. That train conversation between Sakuta and Kunimi, it was so ambiguous. Were they talking about Sakuta and Koga, or maybe hinting at something between Kunimi and Futaba?
Good point. And don't forget, Futaba is the one narrating the episode's ending. That feels deliberate, like the show is setting her up as the focus for what's coming next.
And think about it, Futaba, with her scientific mind, her pseudoscience explanations for everything.
Trying to grapple with puberty syndrome. Oh man, things are going to get interesting.
It's a great setup. We've got intellectual intrigue, emotional depth, and who knows what kind of theories Futaba will come up with.
Can't wait to see those forum threads explode. But wait, before we get ahead of ourselves, we need to address the biggest bombshell of this episode. Shuko is back.
The forums are in meltdown over this. Remember, Sakuta mentioned her before, right? His former crush who just vanished.
Yeah, like a ghost from his past, and now boom, she's back looking like a high school student.
The timing is insane, especially with Sakuta and Mai finally becoming a couple. It's like the show is setting her up as this catalyst for drama.
The fans are going wild with theories. Is it really the same Shuko? What happened to her? What does it all mean? So many questions, and the show's just loving it.
It's like they're throwing us a curveball, making us question everything. And I have to say, it's working.
Totally agree. Okay, I think it's time to take a breath. We've covered a lot of ground, from Sakuta and Mai's relationship to Koga's mind-bending time loop to the shocking return of Shuko.
This episode was jam-packed. It's amazing how the show balances it all, though. The lighthearted moments, the serious drama, the mind-bending mystery, it all works together.
And it's all anchored by these characters that feel so real, so relatable. You find yourself rooting for them, even when they're making questionable decisions.
Right. It's like we're watching a group of friends figure things out, navigating the ups and downs of life, you know?
Exactly. So anyone joining us on this deep dive for the first time, welcome aboard. You're in for a wild ride. And for everyone who's been following along, get ready, because we're just getting started.
There's so much more to uncover. Back again for more anime series name. And let me tell you, that time reset still got everyone talking.
Oh yeah, the forums are buzzing. Some people are even wondering if anything that happened during those time loops was even real.
It really makes you think about the whole idea of puberty syndrome. Like, what if Koga's time loop wasn't time travel at all?
Right. What if it was all just a product of her puberty syndrome, her need to control the atmosphere?
It raises the question, how much of what we see in the show is objective reality, and how much is being shaped by these characters, by their own perceptions?
Heavy stuff. And then you've got those fake dates with Sakuta. They happen again in the reset timeline, but this time it's different.
Yeah, way more casual, right? Like they're just hanging out as friends.
So are we supposed to believe those dates actually happened? Or are they just echoes of what went down in Koga's simulated world?
It's almost like, even though the loop was fake, the feelings weren't. Those moments left some kind of emotional imprint.
Yeah, like a residue that carried over into the new reality.
Right.
Even though the context has changed, they still built a connection.
Exactly. It shows how complex relationships can be. Even experiences born from deception can have real emotional weight, you know?
Yeah, totally. It's like the show is saying that even in less than ideal circumstances, the connections we make can still matter.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another relationship that's got everyone talking. Futaba and Kunimi. Things are heating up there.
Yeah, there's definitely something brewing between them. That train conversation between Sakuta and Kunimi was so cryptic.
Seriously, were they talking about Sakuta and Koga? Or maybe hinting at something between Kunimi and Futaba? We need answers.
And remember, Futaba narrates the episode's ending. It's like the show is shining a spotlight on her, telling us, hey, her story is next.
And we know Futaba's probably going to experience puberty syndrome soon. Imagine her trying to wrap her scientific mind around something like that.
Oh, I can't even. Futaba, the queen of pseudoscience, facing something so irrational, so emotional, the theories are going to be wild.
I bet. Will she try to explain it with quantum mechanics? Or come up with a mathematical formula for love? The possibilities are endless.
This is going to be good. It's like the perfect setup to explore the whole science versus emotion thing,
Yeah.
logic versus intuition, you know.
Totally. And it'll be interesting to see how Kunimi reacts to all of this. He's always been so reserved.
He's going to have to step out of his comfort zone with Futaba's feelings becoming so obvious.
No doubt. But before we get too deep into their potential drama, we have to talk about the biggest bombshell of the episode, Shuko's return.
Yeah, the forums are practically melting down over this one. Everyone is trying to figure out why she's back.
It's like a ghost from Sakuta's past suddenly reappearing. And the timing, right after he and Mai make things official, super suspicious.
For sure. So what's the deal? Is it just a coincidence? Or is there something more to it?
Maybe it's connected to Sakuta's puberty syndrome somehow, like a manifestation of his unresolved feelings for her.
That's a good theory. But we also have to remember, we still don't know what caused her disappearance in the first place.
Right. And the Shupo we see at the end of the episode seems younger than she should be. Is it time travel? A doppelganger? Who knows?
It's like the writers are messing with us on purpose, keeping us on our toes.
They're definitely succeeding. This episode is a perfect example of what makes anime series name so good. It blends romance, mystery, psychology.
And it all comes together in this really captivating way.
Exactly. You've got the lighthearted stuff with Sakuta and Mai, the emotional drama with Koga, the potential for romance with Futaba and Kunimi, and now this whole mystery surrounding Shuko.
It's like they took all these different genres, all these different themes, and somehow managed to weave them together into a seamless narrative.
And it works. Because at the core of it all, you've got these characters who feel real, who are dealing with stuff we can all relate to.
Right. It's like we're watching a group of friends try to figure out life, love, and everything in between.
And that's what resonates with viewers. That's what keeps us coming back for more.
Absolutely. This episode really highlighted the show's ability to blend genres and themes to create something that is both entertaining and thought-provoking.
It's not just a show you watch, it's a show you experience.
Well said. So, for those of you just joining us on this deep dive, welcome. You're in for a treat. And for the veterans, get ready for more because we're just scratching the surface.
There's so much more to explore.
And we're back. Final part of our anime series, Name Deep Dive. It's been a wild ride, huh? Time loops, fake realities, relationship drama. My head's still spinning.
This show knows how to keep us on our toes, that's for sure. And speaking of keeping us guessing, can we talk about Shoko? Her return has the entire fandom in a frenzy.
Seriously, it's like she stepped out of a time machine. Sakuda mentioned her, right? This mysterious girl from his past who just vanished. And now, boom, she's back, looking younger than she should be.
The My Animalist forums are exploding with theories. Time traveler, doppelganger, a whole different person with the same name. People are going crazy trying to figure it out.
It's like the writers are playing with us, teasing us with this big mystery. But I think there's something deeper going on here, something beyond just, who is she? Remember, Sakuda has those scars, the physical ones and the emotional ones, from whatever happened with Shoko.
Right, so her reappearance, it's not just about solving a mystery, it's about Sakuda facing his past. Maybe it's what he needs to finally heal, to move on.
That makes sense. And this could have a huge impact on his relationship with Mai. They just became a couple, and now this blast from Sakuda's past shows up.
Talk about throwing a wrench into things. But, I think it shows how mature the show is about relationships. It's not always easy. There are going to be challenges, and sometimes those challenges come from the most unexpected places.
Totally. It's about how Sakuda and Mai handle these obstacles together, how they communicate, how they support each other.
Right. It's about growing, both as individuals and as a couple. And speaking of growth, we got to talk about Futaba. It's pretty obvious she's head over heels for Kunimi.
And with her puberty syndrome, probably right around the corner, things are about to get really interesting.
Imagine Futaba, the pseudoscience queen, trying to make sense of something as irrational and messy as love.
Oh, I can see it now. Futaba trying to apply scientific principles to matters of the heart, maybe building some crazy gadget to measure Kunimi's feelings.
But seriously, her arc could really delve into the whole science versus emotion thing. Can logic explain everything? Or are there some things that just defy rational explanation?
Right. The show does such a great job of blending those elements, the fantastical and the everyday, the scientific and the emotional. It all comes together.
Exactly. It's about finding the extraordinary in the ordinary, the magic in those little everyday moments.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's safe to say anime series Name is something special. It's not just another anime, it's a show that makes you think, makes you feel, and maybe even changes how you see the world.
It challenges your assumptions, makes you question things, and it does all that with characters you genuinely care about.
Characters who feel real, who make mistakes, who experience joy and heartbreak just like we do. And that's what makes it so relatable, so powerful.
So to all our listeners, whether you're diehard fans or just discovering the show, we hope this deep dive has given you a new perspective on anime series Name.
And maybe even inspired you to go back and rewatch some episodes. Catch those little details you might have missed the first time around.
Because trust me, there's always something new to discover.
So that's it for us. Keep those theories coming, keep those discussions going, and most importantly, keep exploring the amazing world of anime series Name.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the stories that matter.